Hey guys, it's Angel. Today I'm going to show you how to make hot pot. Now, hot pot in Mandarin is known as 火锅, and the literal translation of that is fire pot. I don't know why they call it that, but it is literally like a hot pot. Traditionally, hot pot is served around holidays like Chinese New Year. So growing up, my grandma would always make hot pot along with a couple other side dishes like turnip cake, which I made in my other video. So if you're interested in what you should cook for Chinese New Year, hot pot is definitely one of those fun things where you can have a bunch of friends and family over, and it's really very kind of a communal family gathering type event. Also very tasty. A couple things about hot pot. There's a lot of Asian style hot pots out there. There is the super spicy ma la huo guo, which is the really numbingly chili spice hot pot. There's Japanese shabu-shabu and also steamboat from Singapore. And those are actually kind of more similar to Taiwanese hot pot, but I'm going to show you my version. It's the version that I grew up with, and this is really my hot pot recipe that I cook every week. Super easy cleanup, super easy prep, and of course delicious during the cold winter months. So with that, let's get started. First things first, we need our equipment. What you'll need is a portable tabletop burner, and I have here what I use at home. It's an electric skillet. So you can see here, this is kind of the removable pan. This is where we put the broth. If you're interested, I have a zojirushi, and I'm going to be doing a product review of this. I actually have two of these electric skillets. I know you might be wondering why I have two. The reason why I have two pots is because when I have large gatherings or friends and family over, at one end of the table I will have one hot pot, and on the other end of the table I will have another hot pot. So if you do have large family gatherings, you might want to get more than one. And there are other options besides this. I'm actually going to show you one that I have here. This option here is maybe something that you've seen before, or you might actually have this at home. It's a portable gas range. It's powered by these butane gas cans, which you put in here. I keep this for emergencies. I don't actually use this, so hopefully I will never need to use this. But it's good to have if there's like a zombie apocalypse or earthquake, power goes out. At least I'll have something to cook with. When I think of hot pot, I think of the types of meat that I am going to eat that day. I've got three types of meats here. I've got side pork belly, sliced thin, beef short ribs, sliced thin, and I was lucky enough today to find some Australian beef. It was really marbled, as you can see, but it's going to be really tasty. So I'm going to eat this whole tray all to myself.
Next, the other ingredients. Taiwanese hot pot is typically served with napa cabbage as the main vegetable. Other ingredients I like to use include watercress, enoki mushrooms, yam noodles, frozen pork balls, Taiwanese tempura, which is kind of like a fish cake, and shrimp. But there are other common ingredients you can cook too, like tofu, frozen fish balls, any type of seafood. The sky's really the limit with hot pot, and that's what makes it so good. For the garnishes, I like to prepare a bowl of chopped yellow onion, cilantro, green onions, some sliced chilies, and finally a small dish of sea salt. Now let's make our soup base.
I have my electric skillet here, and I filled it up about 3/4 full with water, and I'm going to put some chicken stock in here, some chicken bouillon. If you don't use bouillon, you can go ahead and just use, I would put about at least 1 or 2 cans of chicken stock. So for a soup of that size, I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons, and you don't need to stir because when it heats up, everything will boil and mix in. The next thing I like to add in my soup stock are a few slices of ginger, 3 garlic cloves peeled. I'm just gonna put them in whole. some dried chili pods. I'm going to do about 5. That'll give me a little bit of a mild heat, not too spicy. Here I have the bottom of my Napa cabbage. I've cleaned it, trimmed off kind of the bad parts, but I'm gonna throw this in there just for flavor so the soup really gets a nice sweet taste of that Napa. I also have optional here, yellow onions. So this is just the outside of my yellow onions. These weren't pretty enough to chop up, but I'm going to go ahead and throw these in there just because I have them. It'll make the soup sweeter. And finally, I have a few sprigs of cilantro. I'm just going to put a little bit in there and throw that directly into my soup. So that's how I make my stock for my hot pot. I'm just going to cover that and let that come to a boil and simmer for a few minutes. And while we're waiting for that, let's go make our sauce. So let's talk about sauces. Sauces in hot pot are like peanut butter and jelly. You can't have one without the other. One of my favorite sauces for hot pot is bullhead barbecue sauce. And it's not a barbecue sauce like American barbecue sauce. It's actually an Asian barbecue sauce, and it has kind of a soy flavor with some, maybe like a little seafood taste to it. A little bit difficult to describe, but it's really good. So it's Asian sa ta barbecue sauce. They call it sa ta jiang in Mandarin. How I like to have my sauce is I will take a few spoonfuls of the Asian barbecue sauce and crack 1 raw egg. Yes, 1 raw egg. I know it sounds weird, but it's actually really tasty. Wash my hands. Then after that, I will just mix the egg and the barbecue sauce together. Sometimes I also like to add raw onions. These are some raw chopped yellow onions and some green onions. So that's my sauce. There are a ton of other sauces out there. Other favorites include sesame sauce. You can just go for straight soy sauce, chili sauce. And when we start eating, I'll show you other variations of how you can use sauces and garnish as well. Now that the soup is boiling, everybody can start to eat. In terms of hot pot etiquette, grab whatever you want, throw them in the pot, and let it boil. It's kind of an everybody cooks for themselves type thing. If you're cooking pork, you want to typically cook it for a little bit longer. If your chopsticks have touched pork, I would just leave them in for a little while, let it cook the germies off. Or you can get an extra set of chopsticks for the meat. Clean! After about a minute, this is what the pork looks like. I'm just going to put it directly into my sauce, dip it a little, and have a bite. That was really good. So for your vegetables, I really recommend giving an extra plate for your guests. So that way you can let the vegetables cool on a plate. And the reason why is because the vegetables will be super hot when you take them out. I actually just want to show you another way that I like to eat my hot pot meat. I kind of lay the beef out on the plate. Then I'll add a little pinch of sea salt flakes, just a pinch, and some green onions, some yellow onions, some cilantro, and it's okay if you use your hands. I do it all the time. Then I just kind of roll that up, and ready for the bite. This meat was really good. It really didn't need any sauce at all. The sea salts brought out the taste. There was a little bit of crunch from the yellow onions and the green onions, and it was just really good in your mouth. Yummy! So this is how I make Taiwanese style hot pot at home. Tons of vegetables. I feel like it's a really balanced meal, and I absolutely love the soup. If you guys make hot pot at home, what do you guys like to add in your soup? Let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!